back with another video. It's been a minute since I've picked up this camera. To be honest with you, I was in Spain for a whole month. I said I was gonna make some vlogs, but I just enjoyed it, man. I can't lie. I could not be bothered picking up the camera. So I just enjoyed the moment, and I've been there for the last month. I haven't posted a video in 3 weeks today, and I wanted to kind of pick up the camera and just make a quick video, just talking to you guys. I feel like there's a lot of people who can learn off my journey, off my story. If you don't know who I am, my name's Samim, 22 years old. I've been in the high ticket sales space for the last year, and in this last year, I've gone from someone with no sales experience to confidently being able to say I'm a top 1% sales rep in the space now. In the last 2 months, I've closed over $750,000 in the info product space. And I wanted to kind of make this video and just talk to you guys about exactly what I did in these last 2 months to hit insane numbers that most sales reps will never actually hit in their life or in their whole sales career. So I wanted to kind of speak to you guys about like what I was actually able to do to get to this point, in these last 2 months. Now, I'm not a deluded person, right? Like, I know I'm very good at sales, but I'm not, Jordan Belfort or anything. I don't claim to be the next Jordan Belfort. A big reason why I've been able to do what I've done in the last 2 months is my offer, right? I'm on one of the best offers in the info product space, doing over like $2 million a month, and I'm the top closer on it, right? So when you're the top closer on a team that's doing very well, you're gonna get paid very well, right? Your offer is probably the biggest thing, right, out of everything. Like, you can have a great mindset, you can have insane attitude, you can have insane work ethic, you can have insane skills, but if you're on a shit offer, you're not gonna make money. It's that simple. So you need to make sure that you are on an established offer. Now, what do you look for in an offer? How do you find a good offer, right? When I got into this space, I was doing all this BS outreach and, trying to message business owners saying, hey, XYZ, please hire me. That's what everybody else is doing, and you have to stand out, right? I actually hired my offer through DealFuel, hiring platform, which connected me with top 1% offers in the info space. When you're actually looking at the quality of another offer, right, you need to see what the other sales reps are making, right? Like, if sales rep on an offer are making like $2,000-$3,000 a month, you're not going to make much more than $2,000-$3,000 a month. I'll tell you that right now. You might be able to make, if you're really good, you might be able to make $4,000 or $5,000, but you're not going to make anything more, because that normally means the offer's pretty shit, right? So you need to look at what other reps are making and make your judgment off that. The first offer I ever got onto was an offer, and I was the first hire, right? And in that month, I did like 45K CC, which is like $4,500 in commission in that 1 month. That was the first offer I ever closed on. And that was not a good sign. When you're the first hire, it's definitely not a good sign. So if somebody's approaching you and saying you're the first hire, they're gonna, take good care of you, all this stuff, definitely not a good sign. Of course, when you just get into the space, beggars can't really be choosers. But when you're looking for a high quality offer, you need to know exactly what the other reps are making. Because if the top rep on an offer is making 20K, I know as a solid offer, I can make 25K, as long as I know my skills and I know I'm good at obviously selling, right? Huge reason why I collected more than everybody else, right? Smoked so many people, is because of the hunger and desire that I had, right? I need to be the best. You have to outwork every single person that you're working with or competing against. Because I look at sales like a sport. Like, I played sports, high-level sports growing up. I look at sales like a sport, right? If you're not in it to win it, don't even try. Don't even bother, right? And so that's probably the biggest thing that's got me to where I am today, is because I had so much hunger and desire to outwork every single person. I took more calls, meaning I had more chances to close more deals. It's that simple. Because if you're getting on an offer, right, and you're going and you're joining not to be the number one, not to be the best, don't even bother getting into sales. To be the best in sales, like, you genuinely just need to outwork every single person. You need to go out of your way to make sure that you are taking more calls than everybody else. There's also other very capable sales reps who I work with and who have a lot of ability, but they just don't have the work ethic that I do. Right? And I'm basically willing to go in places and go to areas that other people aren't to get the outcome that I want to get to, right? So my offer, combined with my work ethic, two big things that got me to where this stage where I've been able to almost make over $100,000 in commission in 2 months. And another thing that attributes to like outworking people is also hitting your pipeline, because there's so many reps that are out there that don't even touch their pipeline, and people don't understand how much money is in your calls that you had before who didn't close, which didn't close. Especially when you're working on an offer that's completely paid traffic like me. Like, I speak to leads who have no idea what we're selling the day before the call, right? And they show up and they have no idea. So you need to understand that you might not close it on the first call, but that does not mean the deal is lost. And hitting your pipeline is essentially important. And you have people in the space who are like, if you need to hit your pipeline, that means you're not a good sales rep. That is never further from the truth, right? Hitting your pipeline is actually a fantastic sign as a good sales rep. So again, that's another thing that kind of goes under the category of outworking everybody else, because a lot of reps don't do that. They don't look at their pipeline, but you need to build a pipeline to actually sell. And you can collect a lot of cash from that pipeline, right? I think in the last 2 months, in the month of April, I think I came first by over 100,000. Second month, I became first by over like 60K. A lot of that would probably be just down to the pipeline, right? Following up with leads, emailing leads, sending schemes. It just has to be natural. It has to be a natural instinct in your mind to actually do these kind of things. And that also, like I said, falls under the umbrella of actually outworking everybody else. Like, I'm not claiming to be some guru or, some sales genius. I'm definitely very good at sales, right? And I've definitely gone from zero to over $40,000 monthly in the span of 1 year as a sales rep. So if you want to get to that stage, listen to me, because I know I've done it. I've been there. I've done it. But again, you'll see so many people online trying to sell you something. Most of these people, I've worked with these people, are people who would not last a day at the top level in the sales space. It's that simple, right? And this is not me trying to shit on anybody. Like, bro, I get you. Do your hustle. But, most of these guys have never touched high numbers. And I don't need to sell anybody anything because I'm making enough money as a sales rep. But I think my biggest trait, my biggest thing is people want to genuinely buy off of me. Like, I understand buyer psychology. I understand that people don't want to really be convinced. They want to be understood, right? And that's a big thing I learned throughout my sales career is like, you need to understand the human brain. You need to understand human psychology, because if you understand human psychology on a sales call, you can be always 2-3 steps ahead, right? And that's something I learned is like, people get on the call and they get on the call with such low energy. They get on the call as a passenger, and it just fucks up the whole sales call. It fucks everything up. But because when I first got into my career, my mentor, he taught me a lot about like understanding buyer psychology, understanding what trigger moments are, understanding what actually makes someone buy from you. When I understood the fundamentals of all that stuff, it made me it made my numbers explode. And I learned very quickly as I was taking so many calls that people buy emotionally, but they justify logically. And when I really thought about it, like, it's so true, because you can get somebody in so much pain, but if you can't justify the buy, like, if you can't show value, if you can't show them an ROI, it's going to be very hard for somebody to buy. And I think that's where so many people get it wrong, is they think like, if I just extract enough pain from this person, that's all I need. And if my discovery is insane, I can make the sale. But no, like, your pitch has to be on point. So the first thing that I did when I got on my offers, I mastered my pitch. I listened to the top closer's pitch, and I kind of memorized everything they were saying. I learned about the industry that I was selling, and I kind of morphed it into my own. And over time, my pitch became insane, right? Like, every single person that I got on the call with saw the value in what I was selling, because I mastered the art of selling. Because selling is at its true core showing somebody else value. Again, like, you can sell somebody emotionally, of course you can, but most sales will come from a logical decision of seeing ROI in something that you're selling. So you need to understand the fundamentals of actual sales, how the brain works, how people buy and make decisions, because when you can understand that, like, you can genuinely sell anything. It's always just being 2 steps ahead of your prospect, because if your prospect is ahead of you, like, you're not going to be able to sell them on the call, right? As a sales rep, you are going to have days where, like, you're not making money. It's that, like, you're going to have days where you're having shit days, right? On the shit days, I understand that this is the game. I understand that this is what I signed up for, and I understand that this is not going to be the same tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And if it's the same tomorrow, it won't be the same the day after. Because I know that even though I have a shit day, the next day my calendar is going to be full with leads who are ready for me to absolutely shank. Like, that's my mindset. Like, I never let a shit day get me down. I don't ever let that happen. And even in the high moments when I'm having a crazy day, I never let that get to my head. Because when you're too high, when you're too low, it fucks you up. It just fucks up your whole mental state. So make sure that when you get on the offer that you're getting on, you vet the offer, you see what the other closers are making, right? It's a proven, established offer, right? Because always have faith in your ability. There needs to be a mix of both, because if you're not good at sales and your offer is great, you're gonna get fired. And if you're great at sales but your offer is cooked, you're not gonna make much money, right? So you have to combine the both. And this stuff does not come overnight. Like, you don't become top 1% sales rep overnight. It takes effort. Like, guys, I started this stuff cold calling leads, right? For 5 months with barely making any money, right? But it's just crazy, man. Like, this last month I was in Spain, made over 40K, 22 years old, right? A year ago, I had no money at all. And again, I'm nothing crazy. I'm nothing special, right? One message to anybody who's out there trying to get into sales space, who wants to get to the level where you're like financially free, man. You can do whatever you want to do. Like, travel the world. Like, In the last 4 months, I've been to Spain. I've been to Arizona. Like, I couldn't think in my wildest dreams I could actually do this a year ago, right? But I made it happen. Understand that, like, the work that you put in right now, it's going to benefit you in the long run. I stay up till like 6 in the morning taking sales calls, right? And I understand it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain, right? Because I know that you can't be a sales rep forever, right? Like, but sales is the cornerstone of any successful business owner. And I know that I have that for the rest of my life. And I know that I've been a top 1% sales rep, and I will continue to be a top 1% sales rep. There is nothing that separates me from anybody, right? You just have to have tunnel vision, and you just have to trust the process, right? And just know, the day you plant the seeds, not the day you eat the fruit, right? But yeah, guys, I hope you took some value out of this video. And if you have any questions for me, just reach out to me on IG, comment on the YouTube post. If you like the video, then like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. But I hope you don't dislike it. But if you dislike it, just dislike it. I have some sales calls to get to. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.